I look at the US, which you have made, is like $650 million investment, 30,000 by again 2027, and again 100,000, I think, by 2030 is the
60,000.
60,000 is the plan which is there in the public domain from where
Yeah.
I'm referring these numbers. So why India as well as US also, right? Both. Why not only from India to supply to US, or why not only because customers are only in United States maybe at this point in time. So why don't you make a plant in US and then cater to those customers? Why you are tapping both the locations?
Yeah. So I think India is our home ground.
Yeah,
We have a lot of comfort in building in India. We are backward
right.
integrated. And I truly believe in building in India for India.
Right.
The challenge in India is it's
Mhm.
very difficult to time the market,
Right.
right? And I need to build a 30,000 ton plant,
Mhm.
means I need a 30 gigawatt hour customer.
Yes.
Now, if you read reports,
Mhm.
30 gigawatt should have happened by 2025. Then there's
Right.
some speculation 27 and
Yeah.
100 gigawatt hour by 2030.
Yeah. Most of the report talks about 100 gigawatt by 2030, but not
But it's
happening.
not happening,
Yeah.
right? But we want to build.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the most important thing is customer.
Right.
So where is our customer today? Our customers in the US.
Right.
So we were clear from day one, we will build in India.
Mm-hmm.
But it was our customer, the
Mm.
Korean cell makers, the Japanese cell makers that
Mm.
said, look, if we're working with you,
Mm-hmm.
we have an obligation to buy in the US
Right.
because of the IRA and now the other bill.
Yeah.
So they are very focused that you need to be a company that builds in the US.
Mm.
So that is what took us to the US.
Okay.
In early 23, we looked at 100 sites.
Mm.
October 23, we announced our site in North Carolina. And I think a 60,000 ton plant will cost us much more than $1 billion
Mm.
as we have done engineering and built.
Yeah.
But the idea is that to build that first 30,000,
Mm-hmm.
our plant in Vijayanagar is largest ex-China plant and that's 2,000.
Yeah.
So no one has built one of these plants we're attempting to build.
Yeah. I mean, there is nothing out of China, honestly.
There's nothing, no
Yeah.
synthetic graphite.
Yeah.
So every time you read a headline and it says
Yeah.
LFP, LFP, someone should wonder
Right.
where is that synthetic graphite going to come to complement that LFP?
Right. There is some restriction, and then a lot of disruption
Yeah, yeah.
happen around supply chain. So how do you plan to integrate, both the plants, India and US? So whether do you plan to supply from India also to United States if there is a favorable condition, or like this capacity which which you are going to build in India, 100,000 tons. I think there will be limited domestic supply, so you need to really focus on exports, or how?
So that to build the first 30,000 tons. Out of the first 30,000 tons, about 10,000 tons we've already committed to a international customer,
Already.
right? So that's left with 20,000.
Right.
Out of the 20,000, we're discussing a contract of 15,000 with a US customer.
Okay.
That leaves me 5,000.
Mm.
This 5,000 I will keep exclusively for Indian customers.
Right. Right.
Because I believe Indian customers will be really large eventually. They will all start off with 1 gigawatt.
Yeah.
They also have to learn, just like
Yeah.
we have learned. They also
Right.
need to learn. There'll be difficulties. They will ramp up.
Right.
So if I can enter the supply chain of an Indian customer with 1,000 tons, when he goes to 5, he goes to 10,
Mm-hmm.
I will grow on his back. So I think my next phase of Indian growth, the
Right.
30 to 60 journey, hopefully will be completely dedicated to Indian customers.
Yeah.
But the first phase, I'm committed that I want to enter Indian customer. Now, I can't necessarily compete with Chinese prices.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask, because if you look at the Indian OEMs or the battery manufacturers, cell makers are also, I think, a lot of in the learning phase, right?
Yeah.
The way companies like Epsilon has been in the learning phase and developing. So in many of the times, what they do, they just compare on the prices, right? And the kind of on your one of the previous talks I was listening, you have gone in detail and talked about it is very difficult to compete on China because they are getting the R&D resources, they are getting the infrastructure built by government. They can definitely go lower on margins, and even they are not making margins as per
Yeah, yeah.
your understanding. So but Indian customer will always look for price competitiveness. So I think they also need to understand, in case they are looking for a long term supply chain stability, that probably they also need to come out of this lowest price game. Otherwise, the dependency will always be there on China. So
Yeah.
your opinion on that?
So definitely Indian market is price sensitive, right?
Yeah.
But I understand where they're coming from. Because
Yeah.
if I'm a cell maker,
Yeah.
I also have to compete against a Chinese cell.
Yeah.
I have no protection.
Yeah.
So if I have to make a $50 a kilowatt hour cell in India,
Yeah.
and I also don't have a scale,
Mm.
I don't have a 30, 40 gigawatt hour cell factory.
Yeah.
I'm smaller, 1 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
How do I compete against a Chinese cell in India?
Yeah.
So now he says, look, if I don't buy cheaper raw materials,
Yeah.
how do I how
Compete.
do I compete in my cell market? Otherwise, a customer will keep importing the cell from China or Korea.
Yeah.
So I understand where he's coming from, but I think it's also you are making large investments. And if I was a cell company investing
Yeah.
2-3 thousand crores in a gigafactory,
Mm-hmm.
I would sit and wonder, is there something in my supply chain that one day can cut me off?
Right.
Right. And I always give this example.
Mm.
If you look at any other critical mineral or battery material
Mm-hmm.
that has to go into a cell, there are always alternates. I can pay 5% more and buy lithium from Chile
Right.
versus China. I can buy nickel from Indonesia.
Yeah.
I can buy a cathode from BSF or Umicore
Yeah.
or Korea,
Mm.
separator, electrolyte. Everything there's an option.
Yeah.
It's only graphite that there's no option,
Oh.
right? Because you'll always keep going to China.
Yeah.
And the messaging that has come in the last 18 months on graphite
Mm-hmm.
is identical to rare earths.
Okay.
Like, first we will put a restriction.
Yeah.
Then there's a restriction on, we will choose who to give a export permit to.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're talking about restricting technology.
Mm-hmm.
So as the messaging is coming,
Mm-hmm.
some customers are realizing, look, I need to de-risk. Cost aside, I need to de-risk.
Right.
So I tell Indian customers, I said, look, qualify us
Mm-hmm.
and buy from us.
Yeah.
If you have a 5,000 ton requirement, buy 1,000 tons for me. I don't want 5,000 tons.
Right.
Keep buying from China while it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But the day he switches off,
Yeah.
you come to me, I'm not in your supply chain, I'm not qualified.
Mm-hmm.
I have a plant that is supplying someone else because I have a contract with him.
Right. Right.
What am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's a customer or whether it's the government also,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about bringing awareness that
Yeah.
this is a critical thing which
Yeah.
can slow down the adoption and the industry.
Yeah. I think this can be even much bigger impact than graphite because it's completely at one location, right? For other materials, at least you have options.
Yeah.
Uh, so you mentioned, right, the messaging part, I wanted to go a little deeper so that we understand, the policy. I think policy making is a very unique trend uh, for any particular country, right? That is how, given this geopolitical situation and other situations, they take decisions. So, for example, China has invested huge amount, right? So they also need to take care about their interests. So
Yeah.
I think December 1st in 2023 they talked about the export permits of graphite, and that included even the spherical graphite, which goes for your anodes for electric vehicles. And then very recently, in July 2025, they talked about restrictions around cathodes, cathode materials. So bringing the technology, IP, or processing is very, very difficult now for any other country.
Yeah, yeah.
At the same time, United States has put up 160% import tariffs on the graphite based anodes. So these things are like really changing very fast. But if I look at your strategy, that's kind of fitting perfectly, at least at this point in time, right? You have a diversification in United States, and probably there can be very high demand. So how was the strategy making? I wanted to understand
Yeah.
strategy making, and before that you can touch upon the overall scenario of restrictions, the taxes, etc.
So I think it's about listening to the customer,
Yeah.
you know, and the customer saying, "Look, I need you to be in the US,"
Yeah.
and us being positive that you can always say that, look, US building is expensive; it won't be the same
Yeah.
price as Chinese or Indian product.
Yeah.
But the fact is, you have to move ahead.
Yeah.
A lot of our peers took contracts in the US
Mm-hmm.
in 24, in 23,
Mm-hmm.
and said, "Oh, 2 years SOP, and I'll supply you graphite."
Mm.
No one realized it takes 18 months, 24 months to permit a project
Right.
because the industry is never built.
Yeah.
Okay, other than say labor shortages or cost escalations in the US, like no one has managed to permit. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that we permitted means something is right in our technology that we have identified and worked on.
Yeah.
So I think one was that I always looked at the business and said,
Mm-hmm.
first step, I have to qualify.
Yeah.
Because if I can't make what the customer needs, there is no business. Next, I have to permit the project to de-risk timeline,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to do my engineering to know the cost.
Yeah.
If I've done these three things, The
Right.
day I sit in front of a customer, I'm confidently able to get into a contract.
Right.
So these two things, these three things we did both in India and US.
Mm-hmm.
So that we've been investing. There's a
Right.
large team that sits behind this,
Right.
our engineering center that has done all this work in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we're confident that when we're talking with customers to
Right.
get into these contracts. So our strategy was, look, if we don't get there, we're not going to get an offtake.
Right. Right.
So, going back to what I was talking about
Yeah.
qualification,
Yeah.
I think one thing is very important to understand because a lot of people think you can just build this plant and turn it on and
Yeah.
like customers need it and the market size is so big.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you like written for sure,
Mm-hmm.
the day you decide to enter battery materials industry,
Uh-huh.
it's 10 years to cash flow,
Mm.
guaranteed.
Right.
So the day I said I'm starting anode, cathode or electrolyte,
Mm.
you're going to take 10 years to get cash flow. There is no way in 3 years
Mm.
you can see money come in. So that's one benchmark to keep in mind whenever you're making these investment decisions. So the challenge now becomes with China restricting the export of technologies.
Yeah.
They obviously build a lot of capacity on battery materials, on
Yes.
cell manufacturing,
Mm-hmm.
and even cars.
Right.
So they're very happy to supply cars to the world
Yeah.
or even cells to the world,
Yeah.
but they don't want like this supply chain getting developed everywhere and
Yeah.
everyone localizing.
Mm.
Now today they have restricted the export of lithium processing
Right.
and LFP.
Mm.
So what happens?
Mm-hmm.
What happens is that a company that was planning to produce cathode
Mm.
and was going to China for licensing,
Right.
you don't have access to that.
Mm.
Now, how do you develop your tech?
Mm.
It's a 5-year painful journey that we have done on anode.
Yeah.
And you have to own your IP. I've realized this over time.
Mm-hmm.
This is not an industry that I go license,
Mm.
build a plant and supply. Because by the time I build a plant,
Mm-hmm.
technology has moved, customer requirements have moved.
Yeah.
And if I'm not the innovator, if I'm not the guy owning the IP,
Mm.
I will always be behind.
Yeah.
So this is not like oil and gas
Mm-hmm.
or other industries where you go get a very proven license, you pay a fee,
Mm.
you make a huge investment,
Right.
and your product sells.
Mm-hmm.
You have to own IP.
Mm.
So we're lucky actually
Uh-huh.
that the tech center that we acquired in Germany
Mm-hmm.
came with 120 patents
Mm.
and a very mature LFP, LMFP technology, which we are further progressing and developing continuously with the team's experience.
Right. Right.
And then the idea is to build a large plant
Yeah.
in India.
I think this is important. I also see a very clear difference in how the traditional IC engine supplier development has happened in India, as well as how it is different in the electrification. So, if you look at traditionally how auto component industry in India has operated, it that they talk about their value proposition in terms of money and access to land and access to the customer, never really on the technology. But very much difference here is you need to have your IP, your own technology if you're operating in very critical areas such as anode manufacturing, cathode manufacturing.
Yeah.
So what's your plan with the cathode manufacturing? Because these things are really, I mean, beyond imagination kind of thing, honestly, to me, because I have been tracking this industry since long, that Indian companies coming up in anode manufacturing, then cathode manufacturing, building commercial level plants. So how do you plan to build the cathode manufacturing in India, and how much time it is again going to take for customer qualification? Is it in the pilot stage or a commercial stage? The company which you have acquired, how it can help you?
Yeah. So we acquired a tech center from Johnson Matthey in early 24.
Mhm.
So a lot of IP and a 300-ton pilot plant. So
Mhm.
actually what that gives us is able to produce samples at mass scale.
Right.
And we were already qualified with a lot of customers.
Mm.
So we are continuing supplying customers. Today our cathode LFP cathode material is in actual two-wheelers operating in Asia.
Right.
So customers are taking it, making cells and it's operating.
Okay.
Now China has moved on.
Mm.
When we acquired the facility, we were at Gen 1.5
Okay.
cathode material,
Mm.
LFP. We have progressed now to Gen 3.
Okay.
The market is at Gen 3 today.
Mhm.
What you will see at a Tesla today is a Gen 3.
Okay.
The market in China has now moved to Gen 4.
Mm.
They just started qualifying.
Mm.
But we are now looking at Gen 3 and Gen 4, there are certain differences in performance.
Mhm.
So this what the Chinese have managed to do is increase capacity in
Mhm.
LFP, so Gen 3, Gen 4.
Okay. Okay.
So you start coming closer to NMC.
Mm.
So you actually are like 5% below NMC performance,
Mm.
but 30% lower cost.
Mm.
So then you say, okay, look, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And especially if you pair that with synthetic graphite,
Right.
you can get a very good performance in a cell.
Right.
So our goal is clear. We're going to build a Gen 3 plant to
Mhm.
start off. Luckily, cathode is much lower capex than anode,
Oh.
and it's a much simpler process plant also.
Mm-hmm.
Not so many steps and not so much power hungry like a anode business.
Right.
So we look to build a 100,000 ton plant in Karnataka.
Mm.
First phase will be 30,000.